does not have any impact on my work because I'm a retiree, happily retired, I must add. But life, yes, of course, I'm a very much on the move guy. I like to meet friends and spend most of my time outside the house.
COVID-19. You've definitely changed our lives, especially mine. Okay, so I would say that my work is definitely, in a way, impacted because in my line of work, a lot of time is meeting the people, having personal interaction. But for now, we are using technological interaction, which sometimes brings about some small difficulties, sometimes connection error or, sound doesn't work. But, we still have to learn to live with it and adapt. So while we are changing to this new digital environment, which I think would have also been, a reality even without COVID, I guess what I want to say is that my life is still the same. The only thing that's different is that I don't get to see my friends so often, although I wish to. And yeah, I would love to go shopping and eat and dine out with my friends, but I can't. So.
Because I'm in this industry where media is heavily impacted, I think, yes, my work is impacted, but I do find other means of getting income by using through financial investment.
It is really very difficult to pinpoint who's at fault on a large scale because nowadays we are fed with social media. You are fed with so many news. Right, America is doing this, India is doing that, China is doing that. So really, so I can only zero in more locally. Who is at fault? At this point in time, I think no one is totally at fault, but our government is partly to blame.
I think everybody know that COVID is a very smart virus. It attacks specifically on a certain group at a time. So I do not know who's the general of COVID, but I would say that yeah, nobody's at fault. Everybody tries their best. There is always bound to have black sheep among the community that is like, no, I want to be different. I don't want to wear a mask. But still, as a whole, I think I would be really proud to say that Singapore as a whole, we're united when it comes to tackling this issue. We're putting our masks, aside from some, but we still do our best. As for China and India, I'm not in that country to actually give my comments about them, but I would say that based on my 2 cents worth, I think nobody wants this thing to happen, and yeah.
I think every party, everyone is at fault because in the individual aspect, there will be people that said, I don't want to wear a mask unless you have a badge. Yeah? And then there's people, there's government that's come into play waiving the economic consequences as well as the health consequences. So I think everyone is at fault in this together. No specific party will be blamed. Everyone got to come in together to solve this problem.
So for COVID, whether it impacts my life, very much so. Personally, I feel that I'm actually a very people person, and so when I don't get to meet my friends or even have a meal like with my family outdoors, right, I feel very isolated, like from them. There's no personal touch, and so in terms of relations wise, I feel that there's a need to want to meet my friends and my family. In terms of work wise, yes, of course, with all this isolation, right? In my line of work, it's required that I meet people. But without meeting people, sometimes when it comes to sales, it is very difficult to do the best that you can to close, because ultimately we are humans, and humans it is always, I think we are built to sort of like speak to each other, to see each other, and not supposed to be done through like a digital platform. So in terms of sales wise, yes, definitely affected. Life definitely affected. But one thing good that we can get out of this COVID is that we learn to appreciate. We appreciate those times that, you know, we get to spend with one another. We appreciate the times that, you know, when we see our friends, we like cherish every moment, you know, we don't take it for granted. So yeah, so in a way, I guess it was a new perspective that I saw from COVID. Yeah. What about you?
For me, I think life definitely huge impact coming from Malaysia. So my parents in KL, my brother in New Zealand, we didn't see each other for 2 years. So it really sucks. Life impact, social circle, at least most of my best friends, they get proposed, married. Also, I missed it, right? So life really sucks. I hope COVID goes away ASAP. Work-wise, I think, yeah, because I'm in the media industry, so definitely media, everyone knows it gets impacted. But I think at this point of time, it's still okay. I am able to financially sustain myself. As long as you have backup plans for rainy days, I think you should be all right. 1 month of lockdown shouldn't have huge impact on you. Yeah. And Danny?
As a retiree, I think work-wise, definitely no impact. But of course, I do some part-time acting, so that has a slight impact because I get gigs postponed and cancelled or that. But then I'm not doing for the money. I'm doing more to keep myself active, to keep dementia at bay. So that is okay. But on a social basis, I'm a very I like to go out. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person and all that kind of thing. So I spend most of my time out, right? Every morning after having my kopi, my gardening, then I'll be out meeting friends, doing this and that, right? So I go and play tennis, I go cycling, and also at night, which I miss a lot, is jamming, playing in a band with fellow retirees. You know, in fact, that there are a lot of groups of fellow retirees who are retired. They love music, and then they were just, these people are really rich professionals, doctors and lawyers, and they make enough money, so actually they can convert their house into studios and all that. Then they can invite fellow retirees to play. It's just like live karaoke. So we'll play and sing on the kind. That I miss the most. I miss the most. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm pretty occupied, but no, I did not neglect my house husband duties. So I mop and I vacuum and mop my house every week, once a week, which is very good exercise. I'll drench all over, very good exercise. Right? I think we are in no position to pinpoint finger India, China, USA, because we we are not up to that level, or at least me, to be able to gauge or or assess the situation. But locally, this second, did you say shutdown? I think that is a very dirty word. Phase 2 heightened alert. So you might use the right word. So who to blame? I think I'll blame the government, because this recent wave is caused by the again politically correct South Asian variant, right? So I just read the first case in Changi Airport where they imported this variant was in as recent as April 27, right? And the problem in India was already as early as middle of March or early March, right? But we're still allowing them in, and they're always playing the same old broken record that we need the economy to be going, and we need people to come in to build our roads, build our buildings, all that. We have no issue with that, right? The main issue is when you read the reports, there are people, they're dependent. Yeah, the work permit and the PR, they're dependent, are coming in. And there was a case where I read they actually came in to get married, and that guy is positive, and things like that. So that one, I think make the Singaporeans very, very cheese off, right? Because I think at one point in time, you must make the decision, close the border, full stop. Like you see, Australia, even their own citizen cannot come back. You see, so this is causing, giving us that big problem. So hence we got these heightened alert things, and our lives suffer. Yeah.
So, as a Singapore PR, I think Singapore government is doing very well. See, right? Because if you look back at my country, Malaysia is disaster right now. They have, I think, third lockdown, fourth lockdown. Yesterday they're supposed to have a meeting to do the lockdown, but they delayed the lockdown and then they just say, oh, we're gonna increase certain measures again. But when the cases were like already few thousand, like 1,000 or something, they still allow bazaars and night markets to be open, which until now Singapore didn't allow. Although our cases were like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, you know. So that's my perspective of Singapore. But again, of course, I would think that this responsibility falls at everyone. It's not a politically correct answer because I do think so. For example, there is people that said, I don't want to wear a mask. Why you don't want to wear a mask? Where's your badge? Who are you to ask me to wear a mask? You know, so we have people like that that don't want to bear this responsibility. And then there is, of course, government that needs to weigh between economic factors because they don't want their citizens to actually, you know, suffer, unable to put food on the table. And then there's the concern of the health ministers to say that, you know, okay, we need to shut down. Enough is enough. Which is at 30, doing the phase 2 heightened alert, I think it's still okay, still acceptable, not too bad yet. Yeah.
May I just add on? I think I'm not discounting those good job that the government is doing, right? We do respect the government, but at the same time, you must also consider that if you want to compare Singapore with other countries, Singapore is relatively small, so it's much easier to you know try to ring fence and contain the spread and all that kind of thing. And you talk about people who don't want to wear masks and all that, they actually either they are slightly mentally unsound or they're really very illiterate and just don't know what is happening. So no, and so it is not because the general public are very rebellious and all that, you know. Well, in big country, you see there are rural areas, there are villages, kampong, people don't even know what is happening, right? Unless you talk about Europe, they know what's happening, but they refuse to wear masks, they protest and all that. But we don't have that in Singapore. So, but I must clarify that I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. But this recent wave, the Indian variant, I think they need to come out and say, I think on hindsight, we should have closed the border earlier. I'm sorry. That's all we need to do. You know, we're not asking you to resign or to step down.
Right. I think Danny brought up a very interesting point. I guess for my 2 cents worth in regards to you know managing COVID in Singapore, I think Singapore Task Force is always for us. Okay, same thing for this second heightened measures. Okay, but I always feel that yes, while Danny made a point that says that yes, it started from the Indian variant. I guess the other thing that probably would have come to the thoughts process of the government would be like how to still maintain a bilateral relations and maintain that good relationship with the other country as well. So I think they have to thread this really carefully. So like I said, in regards to what the government do, I mean for maybe because I'm young, so I just have to take that leap of faith to trust that what they are doing is for the best of our interest. I agree in the fact that yes, we needed to do this this COVID heightened measure because we don't want another huge wave from coming when we've seen like in Malaysia or in like India and KL. But I'm glad to see that as a whole, Singaporeans are united to say that, okay, if the government says that we put on masks, all of us are doing our part to play, to put on our mask. While there are definitely some bad apples in the crate, but those are people that is, they they are just, I'll just say it out front, they are just really selfish people because they are just doing it because they want to. But I would say to them is that if you can, don't think about yourself, it's about other people. When you wear a mask, it's not just about putting a mask. I feel uncomfortable as for myself, but no, everybody put a mask, not just for their health, but it's also to protect their loved ones. So yeah, just play a part. Yeah, and of course, all of us would stand to agree that we would hope that COVID is over and everybody can go back to normal. But let's be frank, it might be here to stay. But the thing is, do get yourself vaccinated and stay safe. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Vaccine advertisement.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm singing for the government.
Play your part. You see, there's a thing that is making many people very disappointed, if not angry, right? They said, okay, we are moving into this phase. We ask you all to play your part, to cooperate. That's where people are getting very upset because we have been playing our part, we have been cooperating. And this latest case clearly an oversight of somebody, right, for letting in the Indian variant in through Changi Airport. I just read in today's Straits Times, 27 April, the first case, the Indian variant came in. And this poor local elderly man who attended to them got infected and then he mushroomed, you know. So we cannot undo thing. We're not asking you to undo thing or do a magic. Just come on and say, I think that was an oversight. We are sorry, Singapore. That's all. That's all we ask for. Then they will get our vote again.
General election.
Did you say vaccinated and died? I think it must be very far and few in between, right? I don't recall reading anything about that. You're talking about overseas. Overseas. I think that probably far and few in between. I think you take a percentage of death. I think it's very, 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 very small. And then it has not been proven that it's the cause of the jab, right? It could be this person already have some health problem and other kind of thing. So I think I'm not too worried about the immediate effect of the jab. Death is definitely something is further away from my mind when it comes to the jab. But the short-term side effect, right, where you get some allergy, you get this, you get some pain, some fever, that is perfectly okay, right? In fact, in many other vaccination, you get that kind of side effect too. What I'm really, really very worried about is the long-term side effect. That even the manufacturer, even the CEO of Pfizer and Moderna, they cannot come up front and say, declare that there will not be any side effect. They say they don't know yet because this is something very new, it has not been tested. So I'm very worried for the young because lately they announced they want to give to school children. That is my worry. Even myself, for the start, I've taken 2 jabs, but I took because my wife twisted my arm. Oh, take, so I took. I wanted to wait for the China Sinovac because it is made through the traditional method of having killed virus or very weak virus, which is like our pneumonia or fever vaccination all done through that. My only worry is that what is going to happen 20, 30 years from now, right? I don't have to worry about myself. 20, 30 years from now, I know where I'll be. But for young people like this or primary school children, what's going to happen, right? What if it cause impotency? What if it cause infertile and things like that can happen? I mean, no one knows, right? Years to come. So that is the part where I'm really, really very worried.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
Anything to add?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to give a comment about the process of vaccination, but I I've wrote in, but the government hasn't gotten back to me. I guess I'm too young. But in any case, my parents have gotten the jabs. I think they are. Yeah, there are some side effects that is like, oh, muscle aches, and some of them do feel lethargic. But ultimately, I would say that right now, because of the COVID situation, I think it puts people in a place whereby there's already so much uncertainty. If there's a certain percentage, doesn't need to be like 100%, but like a certain percentage that I can prevent myself from getting this virus, they would go for a jab. I think they are sort of like buying some hope in a way by getting vaccinated. But of course, we are seeing like doctors or nurses who have gotten themselves vaccinated got this new virus as well, which is what happened at Tan Tock Seng, right? So the review or the feedback that was given was that, oh, at least, they don't need to put on the oxygen mask because they are vaccinated. So in a way, their body has a certain degree of immunity towards the virus. For me, is that if it comes to vaccination and my family, is thinking, should I go for the vaccination? I think all of them would be like, okay, you know what? To get ourselves at least a certain degree of hope, okay, let's just get vaccinated. I think nowadays people don't think so far because they're fearful in a way. So in a case, if I see that there is like some ray of hope, I guess they would just go for it without even thinking like what Danny had said, like, possible side effects. They're like, okay, you know what? I'll take the chance. So I guess this is why people's mentality is towards vaccination right now. Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, I think Singapore government announced that they would like the jabs fully rolled out by August. At least everyone gets their first jab, which I'm glad. Yeah, because everyone, I think we might have heard a lot of stories of side effects of this XYZ vaccine, but there isn't 100% to any vaccines. And then media kind of make this a big issue because it's a current issue right now. At least quote my brother, whichever camera, quote my brother who is in medical field in Anzac. He did mention that, Astra has this 1% blood clot kind of issue, or is it 0.001%, which it's possible as well if you take paracetamol and someone died from it. But people don't make dying from paracetamol such a big issue because paracetamol is such a common drug right now, right? But COVID vaccine is a very new thing. The media will tend to magnify whatever negative cases towards it compared to the positive cases. So at least from my brother's advice, he said, Dad, go get the jab. Mom, go get the jab. If you get the jab, get the jab. So I think the risk is definitely there because nothing in the medical field is 100%. But at least we get the first layer of protection for ourselves. And if we are the younger generation, right, we need to make sure we are safe so that our elder generation is safe as well. So I think it's a very smart move to ensure that at least everyone gets vaccinated at least one round to ensure that this thing doesn't spread further. Yeah.
My point is that the immediate side effect, the blood clot or somebody dying is really a very, very small percentage. It's not a concern. My main concern is what will be the long-term side effect, which even the drug manufacturer cannot answer, right? So yes, I agree with your brother, dad, mom take, of course, dad and mom are closer there, you see, right? So by the time 10 years or 20 years when the side effect kick in, we are already underground, right? But you're talking about the 20s, the primary school children, the teens, all that, taking at 20, 30 years, their kidneys start to fail. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying nobody knows, right? Their liver start to fail, or as what I mentioned earlier, impotency and infertility and all that kind of thing. We don't know. That is the part which is troubling me, at least troubling me,
I would agree with Danny on this because I mean, I've watched some documentary shows. I mean, of course, it is not related to COVID, but there are always side effects as to, like, for example, the surrounding the environment, and also especially when it comes to jab, it is taken into our bloodstream, and it will be produced, or our body would have a certain sort of reaction, but it might not take like it might not show instantly, but slowly and surely it might have surfaced out some of the residues that that actually we do not want, and then we might be facing a new kind of issue. So I agree, and I can resonate with what Danny said, but the thing is, I guess right now, more than not, most people are just trying to appease the current issue. I really doubt that they are thinking that far as well, Danny. That's for sure. I think most people are just like, you know what, I'm gonna take right now because I just want to be free from this problem now. And then in future, let the future handle. I guess this is really just the mentality of everybody right now. But I don't fault them, because I think for me myself, I would also take the vaccination. Yeah, because this is the best solution so far that's on the table.